Good evening, namaste. The whole world is one family. Now, how many times have we heard that from so many different organizations in so many different directions? But nonetheless, the title may sound like some fantasy or overly utopian idea, but actually this is the premise of the Vedic teachings as well. This is why there is a saying in Sanskrit, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The world is one family. Certainly we can see that the whole world is populated by people who are working to attain the same things, such as happiness, peace, security, resources like food and shelter, and, of course, a hopeful future. How much easier it could be if we focused on our similarities instead of our differences. We could all work together. And with that, how much easier it would be to find the necessary cooperation that would pave the way for global assistance in helping everyone acquire what they need. For example, Morihei Ueshiba, the founder of Aikido, the method of martial arts, said, "Above all, one must unite one's heart with that of the gods. The essence of God is love, an all-pervading love that reaches every corner of the universe. If one is not united to God, the universe cannot be harmonized. Thus, martial artists who are not in harmony with the universe are merely executing combat techniques, not Aiki, meaning I, uniting harmony and love with Ki, or the universal energy." End quote. Thus, this understanding is very important even in ordinary, everyday life. If we are not working in harmony with love and universal energy, we are simply going through daily routines that are ineffectual and empty. We need to practice the methods which also awaken the connection we have with God, the universe, and each other. This is the way we can fully grow and develop. Then our life will have meaning and purpose. We will be guided by our own upliftment, and we will be able to assist in the upliftment of others. We will be able to recognize the all-pervasiveness of the Supreme Being. The essence of this perception has been related in the ancient Vedic texts, as we find in the Svetasvatara Upanishad 6:11, which states, "He is the one God hidden in all beings, all-pervading, the self within all beings, watching over all worlds, dwelling in all beings, with the witness and the perceiver." End quote. If one can truly understand this and become enlightened in this way, he will see that he is a part of the supreme reality and realize his union with all beings. Within that enlightenment, one can reach divine love. This love is based on the spiritual oneness and harmony between all beings, which is sublime. It is a source of spiritual bliss. It is a love based not only on bodily relations or mutual attraction, but it is based on being one in spirit, beyond the temporary nature of the body. This is the love for which everyone searches, from which springs forth peace, harmony, and unity, of which all other kinds of love are mere reflections. This state of being is reached only through spirituality, or genuine spirituality. Therefore, a life without spirituality is a life incomplete. We all have the need to fill their souls with spirituality, or the presence of God, in order to feel fullness, peace, contentment, and unity. As the Supreme says in the ancient Vedic text of Bhagavad Gita 6:30, "To him who sees me in everything and everything in me, I am never lost, and he is not lost to me." End quote. So, to begin seeing how things really are and to recognize the divinity in each of us, we have to start adjusting our consciousness. This takes place by being trained in spiritual knowledge and by the practice of yoga, which purifies the mind. When the mind becomes purified and the false ego no longer influences our vision, we become sensible people. As the Bhagavad Gita 13, verses 31 through 32 says, "When a sensible man ceases to see different identities due to different material bodies, he attains the spiritual conception. Those with the vision of eternity see that the soul is transcendental, eternal, and beyond the modes of nature. Despite being within the material body, the soul is above material contact." This is the point to understand. So, as the Son is a part and parcel of the Father, similarly, we are all individual parts of the Supreme Spiritual Father. In fact, the whole creation displays different energies which are expansions of the Supreme Energetic. Thus, there is a diversity within the variegated material energy which expands from the Supreme Being. These expansions manifest in millions of species of life, as explained in the Vedic literature. Therefore, although we are in different material bodies, we are all expansions of the same spiritual energy. This is oneness and unity and diversity. On the spiritual platform, which is absolute, we are all the same. We are all spiritual beings, servants of the Supreme Being, undergoing life in the material creation. This is real unity. This perception is the perfection of the spiritually conscious person. He sees all living beings as reflections of the One, the Supreme Being. Thus, in a broad sense, there is only one interest, and spiritually, there is no clash. We are all but small reflections of that supreme consciousness. When we put the greater whole above ourselves and realize that we all contribute to the condition of this planet, then uniting with a common cause and with that supreme consciousness will be easy. This planet does not allow us to be isolated. We all must work together and interface with others on some level. One lesson that this school of existence on this planet forces us to learn is that when we come together willingly to communicate with a positive purpose or pray together and to unite for the good of the whole, then harmony and peace can exist. That peace forms and manifests when we focus on our spiritual nature, which brings between us our unity in the Supreme. Making this the center of our existence will easily bring peace, unity, and harmony in this world because it brings in the spiritual vibration that emanates from the Supreme. That vibration is one of spiritual love. That is what we need to become absorbed in. It is all that is eternal. All else is temporary. Therefore, focusing on and using our energy on temporary emotions such as envy, jealousy, and anger will only keep us far away from the Supreme and from reaching any peace or unity between us. We have to recognize how similar we are in order to expand our heart toward others whom we may have previously rejected. This is how love and understanding can dissolve the boundaries that keep us stifled as a society or as individuals and keep us from entering higher dimensions of consciousness. There is no other way to grow spiritually. A lack of love for each other is merely a reflection of a lack of love for God. When we think in spiritual consciousness, we do not recognize others by their differences. We see our similarities. This is easy when we think in terms of being sons and daughters of the same Supreme Father. We all belong to the One. Only in this way can there be universal love among all living entities. Only in this way can we begin to think that we are all related to each other. Once we establish our relationship with the Supreme, then we can establish our true relationship with everyone else. It becomes automatic. Our spiritual nature is eternal, and our spiritual relation with the Supreme is eternal. Therefore, our spiritual relationship with each other is also eternal. It is not subject to time and circumstances, even though it may seem so in material consciousness. This central point has to be established in order for there to be universal peace, brotherhood, equality, and unity in the world. In essence, we are all consciousness in material forms. Consciousness cannot be destroyed. It is the essence of God in each of us. We are all spiritual beings, reflections of the divine. We are not our beliefs, our cultures, or our minds and bodies. We are all divine souls in a wondrous journey through truth. We have manifested from God the supreme truth, and we are all evolving back to God. Or as the Manu Samhita 12, verse 125 relates, thus, he who by means of self sees the self in all created beings, and the soul, and each soul in all created beings, after attaining equality with all, enters into Brahman, or spiritual consciousness, which is the highest place. That is the ultimate goal, and that is what we all need to be working for, which will also bring about peace on the planet. So any institution, government, or individual, or even religion which perpetuates the differences between ourselves instead of the spiritual similarities is nothing but perpetuating the illusion and is part of the illusion. That one is what needs to be avoided, and the only way to counteract that is with genuine spiritual knowledge. And I hope that we all can make serious progress towards attaining that. Thank you very much. Namaste. Jai Shri Krishna.